Right back at you. On my way to work. Well, now on my way to work. I'm already at work. I'm gonna talk to you guys for like a good 5 minutes. Then after that, I'm inside. Feel me? Dig. I just dropped the video. The difference between, not the difference between. Feel me? And right now I'm just about to make my final round trip just to go inside the workplace and everything else like that. You dig? I have supposedly it said I got 15 minutes to you, but I'm gonna be short on this one. Maybe, I don't know. I always say that, but I don't know. I just came out here to check in with y'all. Feel me? I was watching TD Jakes and I was listening to him. And I gotta finish watching that because I feel like that was a very interesting topic. And I took something from that and I'm like, you know what? I can make a type. I heard a phrase that he said, the last to know. Then I'm like, you know what? I can build off that, just that line alone, that I was the last to know. He said sometimes people who are great usually are the last to know. Everybody else sees it except for that person himself. Let's just say, if it wasn't for the camera that I'm looking at right now, I'm on the outside looking in. He said, you on the outside looking in, so tell me what you see. You feel me? A person can always tell you about yourself that you can tell you about your own self. Vice versa. I'm more likely to pick up on everybody else's greatness except for my own. So a lot of people see the greatness in you before you get to see the greatness in yourself. This is why they say when you don't have no haters, you ain't really doing nothing, because you were the last person to see it in yourself. So people who get to see it and has bad intentions will attack you first because they're trying to rob you of your greatness before you get to see it. That's why you have haters sometimes. And it's very hard for you to see something that is on you because you too busy out there looking into the world. That's why you're always the last to know. And it resonated very well with me. And I'm like, because I still don't know what the fuck is so intriguing about me. I'm like, yo, these niggas is out their motherfucking mind, man. What the fuck? But people see, like, it's like me having, it's like you and your wife, you in the house and everything else, and you haven't buttoned up you missing a button. You feel me? Your wife will get to see this thing before you, cause she's looking at you, analyzing you. You feel me? And she like, oh, you miss a button right here. You forgot to button up this part of your shirt right now. All right, fella, let me just walk a little bit further, then right back. You feel me? Then your wife will fix it for you. So that greatness represents you missing a button. You feel me? And your wife is a person that's on the outside looking in, and she will let you know the things that you're missing. The same thing with her too. If she had a lint on one of her clothes and you come out of nowhere and just pick it apart, she can't get to see everything about herself. You feel me? Because her eyes is projecting out. It's not something that you could just, you know what I mean? We all not owls where we can just turn our whole head around and start looking at ourselves and shit like that. You feel me? Greatness always you are the last to know that you're great. Because everybody else will see itself for you. So it resonates so well to me on I'm the last to know. Of course, that's gonna be the title to I am the last. I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm just saying that's what he was saying, and that's what I'm going to build off on. And how I'm going to build off on it, I'm going to build off on the last to know about things that was going on in my life that I didn't even know. You feel me? There was people that was doing me wrong that I didn't even know. Even when somebody tells you, hold on, let me walk a little bit further. Even when somebody tells you, you still would not believe them. I have friends around me and it's like, yo, you don't even act like these people. Why are you around them? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yo, you different from them. Like, this was all the way back in like junior high or high school, something like that. A girl was telling me this. And I didn't even listen to her. I'm like, what? But I was the last to know. That's because I was too naive. Not even naive. It's just the way the human body is conformed. You feel me? Because you constantly the one that is seeking out. You feel me? You are constantly the one that is learning. You are constantly the one that is absorbing. Because the way we are made to absorb and seek and learn and everything else like that. And we are learning from our surroundings to build, to participate in something that is already existing. Because when we come into the world, we come into a world where we don't know much. Well, first of all, we don't know nothing at all when we come into this world. So most of our subconscious is learning things that is already here already. So even if it was a mistake or even if it was the truth, you still learning and absorbing this thing. So you come into a world that is unknown, and it's literally like you come into a world where you are the enemy of the world itself. Because you coming in, remind you, when a baby is born, right? I'm looking at it from a baby's point of view. When a baby is born, the baby doesn't even know who the mother or the father is. It does not necessarily know. Maybe it has a connection. They always say it has a connection bond with the woman and everything else like that. But I refuse to believe that, because a lot of babies who are born sometimes, and the mother give them right away after she had the birth, they give it to another woman. Although she had to bond with the mother, she will bond with somebody else once the umbilical cord is cut and everything else like that. So a baby or a human being is coming into this world where you basically come into a world where you are the outside, you are the outlaw, you are unknown. People don't know like, you feel me? You have to fit into the society that you're coming into. You feel me? You are the last to know anything else, because you now have to shape yourself into the society that you're about to come into. So you have to learn. From there, you take whatever you've learned and shape it, and you shape yourself into the society so you can be part of the society. You feel me? I'm just saying, if you most people think, oh, I'm being fully myself. It sounds good, but at the same time, you come into a world where you try to fit in. And that's just the fact of it. You feel me? That's just a small thing I just want to tell you. Like, we come into a world where we don't know nothing at all. You feel me? Your mother is a stranger to you. Your father is a stranger to you. You feel me? And you have to learn these things from a baby growing up. You have to learn these things. Before you even get to learn yourself, you have to learn everything else. And it said in the Bible itself, even Adam didn't get to learn himself. Before he had to know himself, God told him to study the world. Study the world. Before you can even get to know yourself, you have to study your surroundings before you get to know yourself. So you're always going to be the last to know who you are. You always get to be the last to know your greatness, because somebody else is studying you and they'll get to see it first. This is how Lucifer was mad at the humans and everything else, because he got jealous and shit like that, because he saw greatness in us that he didn't get to see in himself. Feel me? Because he's also projecting out. He's also seeking out. He's also receiving information that comes into his mind, but he doesn't get to see himself. You don't walk around 24/7 with a camera on you and I'm getting to see every part of me. No, most of the time we walking into the world just seeing apart from ourselves, but yet we seeing ourselves because we have to learn ourselves through the things that we see. I hope you understand that. It's almost comparable. Feel me? It's a separation, but yet it's still the same person that I was talking about, the 2-in-1. You know, my little theory that I put out there. You already know what time it is. Talk to me nicely. Anyway, but so we basically projecting. We constantly receiving. We come into a world where we are the enemy. We are the enemy of the world already, because you feel out of place, out of bounds. You on the sidewalk, and now you on the sidewalk looking into the streets, and you see all these cars passing by. You see all colors passing by. You see all different formats: Tesla, Honda, Jeep, Toyota, all these different form of things passing by. Tigers, lions, bears, oh my. And you trying to figure out, all right, where do I fit in? Let me take a little bit of this. Let me take a little bit of that. It's just like me, myself. When I came to California, I'm still figuring out. I'm absorbing everything. I know that the weather is bipolar as fuck. It's ridiculous. It's different from where I came from. You feel me? I was lucky enough to still remember where I came from. But us humans, when we come into this world, we have no idea of where we came from. You feel me? We don't know what tunnel or what hole we came through. We know we came through our mom's tunnel. You know what I mean? The lady's vagina, feel me? But you coming into a world where I'm trying to figure out the right word or phrase to put to it. But you come into a world where you have to relearn everybody else. You have to befriend everybody else. You feel me? And that's what it is. You feel me? So we are always the last to know anything about us. You feel me? So that resonated very well with me and everything. I was always the last to know that somebody hated me. You feel me? I was always the last to know that this person was not good for me. You You feel me? That's why you always need people around you. But people make it seem like the only reason why you know what you know because somebody else told you about the situation. But they make it seem like I'm stupid for not seeing these things that's happening to me when I was the last to know. I'm always gonna be the last to know. It's happening to me. So of course I'm gonna be the last to know. When secret is being kept, it's always being kept from somebody else. That's why it's a secret. Or that's why it's not being told. You feel me? People have to understand these things. They like, it's crazy. Like I have to explain myself in this format because I feel like it's very important. Before we criticize people, we need to understand these things. Because we want to be so much better than the next person. Good. It's a good thing it's leaving. Because we want to be so much better than the next person that we will intentionally keep something away from somebody knowing that this person is destined to do something, or this person needs to know this information, or his wife is cheating on him, or this, that, and the third, or this. Knowing that that's your job to tell yourself, because you are that person that you're seeing. I'm you and you are me. There's no difference between the two, but yet there is a different pattern formation to it. So you think that just because you have a different color hair, or you have this, or you have that, you have a blue jeans, and I have purple jeans, you think you're different from me. You understand? How do you see these things? You feel me? We were supposed, and it's amazing to me. After this, I'm done, then I'm going. It's amazing to me when I first came to this country and I was in the hood. To me, when I started constantly traveling back and forth from the place where I grew up at to the place to going to the city, which we call Manhattan, in New York City, of course, and I'm seeing the difference between where I'm growing up at in the hood and Manhattan. Every time I came into the hood, I saw color, but at the same time, it seemed like it was black and white. When I came into the hood, it just looked dull. It looked gloomy. You feel me? But when I went into Manhattan, I just saw color, beautiful buildings, bright colors, and everything else like that. It was more inviting to me. At least that's the feeling was. But when I came back into the hood and everything else like that, I was cautious. I had to, feel me, put on a certain persona and everything else like that. You gotta be cautious. People be like, oh, you're not being yourself. Nah, you be stupid to like, if I enter a room, if I'm going to a job interview, I can't go like this. I have to wear a business suit to go into that interview. I gotta look presentable. You feel me? If I'm in the hood, yeah, you gotta present yourself according to the environment that you're in. You feel me? The environment always shape the character, even when it comes to genetics. The environment will shape the character of who you are as an individual. And you're always gonna be the last to know. That's just what I'm trying to, the initiative I'm trying to put out there. So when I came in the hood, I can always see that, oh shit, like it's gloomy. It's like, it's not me. It's kind of like shallow a little bit. It's a beautiful neighborhood and everything else like that, but you still gotta be cautious because it's not that many police officers there. There's a lot of people who are not really forthcoming when it comes to saying things. They always have a code of honor. It's like, shh, don't tell nobody and everything else like that. So most of the time you have to mind your business and everything else. But when you go into Manhattan, you see that it's a lot more safety and precaution that has been applied to that kind of place. Businesses, opportunities. It just seems so much more to it. You feel me? And what I'm trying to say is that intelligence, when you see something that is intelligent, that's inviting, you see color. You feel me? Although it seems like you see color around you and everything else like that, but it's very shallow in your perception of how you see these things. So when I went into Manhattan, the colors was that much brighter. But when I came into the hood, I had to dim these things down. You feel me? You got to dim it down a little. It seems like it dimmed down on its own over time. You feel me? And what I'm basically trying to say is that, although I went through too many description of everything else, but they all kind of make sense. Not kind of, they all actually do make sense. Is that intelligence comes from the enhancement of the colors that you see around you, the joy that comes with it as you being in a place or being in a particular thinking mind and everything else like that, to where when you know that, oh, I'm in a place where it's like, I wouldn't say it's non-intelligent, but it's not the happiest place to be. I'm not saying the hood is not the happiest place to be, because I don't want people to take it in the wrong way, but the opportunities that presents itself is at a low frequency. So when you at a low frequency, guess what? You're gonna have less coloring. You feel me? And when anything that's at a high frequency, I associate that with intelligence in the form of shape. And I'm not saying that Manhattan was more intelligent. I'm saying the opportunities and just the just seeing things that you seeing a lot more things that you like. Damn, I wish I could have that. Wish I could have that. Enhance how you feel like, yo, I gotta work harder. You view yourself in a different light when you go to when light even colors. You feel me? That's how we get to see certain things. So that's what I'm describing in that light, in that light, in that color, and whatever. Da, da, da. But greatness, you're always the last to know. You feel me? Let me bring it back to